Hey everybody, this is Dave Jose from Facebook. Today is one of the most important days that I have ever came on Facebook. You guys know I've done a lot of stuff with business, a lot of stuff exposing fraud when it comes to what's happening in our world. Well, just recently, you guys know that it was found, and I hope the video isn't going down because I'm going under a freeway overpass. Yes, I am talking on the phone and driving. I don't care. We have an important situation. We got kids that are being trafficked and dying. Now, what I want to do is I want to clearly take you back down the road. I have a really good photographic memory and a really good auditory memory, so I'm able to connect things that we have heard from years ago. Hey, Diane, I love you, sister. I'm able to connect things that people said from years ago. So I'm going to put some things together for you, not to say 100% one thing either way, but to give you information for you to look up so you can see what's been happening. Because I told a lot of my friends that God was going to blow the doors back on Arizona and he was going to deliver us, and it wasn't going to take for us to have very good legal briefings, but God was going to utterly destroy this thing. Hey, Melinda, I love you. Now, yeah, Highway 19. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. A few years back, I know a lot of people. I know people in the motorcycle world. I know people in the car world. And a lot of times in the motorcycle and the car world, which y'all see me posting my cars and stuff like that, you start meeting people who are high-level people in crime too. And so I can tell you 100% that I know that there were people in Arizona who were arrested connected to the Fast and the Furious gun exchange that was done while Hillary Clinton was in office, Obama and Eric Holder were in office. And what was happening was that the guns that the United States government had, they were giving military type weapons and all types of weapons that they're telling us they don't want us to have. They were giving those weapons to cartels. And what's crazy is that one of the cartel members who seemed to be in trouble, he said a long time ago that, hey, the government gave us the guns and told us that we can rape people and kill people and do whatever we wanted to do near the border, and nobody would mess with us. Now, what's funny is that now there's been a location found near I-19, and I think it's called Vistancia. My really good friend Junior Lopez actually physically went there for us. Now, he's a medical commodity investor and a guy who's getting into real estate investing, so it's no hoax. This guy out of nowhere said, Coach Dave, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to see what's up here for real. So Junior Lopez went and actually saw the site and videotaped the site and talked to the people. And he knows that there's trafficking. This is a good man who loves his kids, who has been busting his butt to make it in life. He ain't involved with the military unit, because there's a military unit, ex-military guys, who have been looking to save the homeless vets. And they stumbled upon this child trafficking site, and now that's how the word got out. Now, I was praying to God that he would do something for me. I was praying to God that he would deliver everybody's kids, and everybody saw me go online and do that. And then after I prayed to God and asked him to do that, I told everybody that God was going to do it. I told everybody that he was going to be there for us. So he gets all the glory, I get nothing. What's strange is the guys who are the military unit, ex-military, that found this location, he's giving God all the glory for finding it. And he found it on my birthday when I was praying to God to deliver all the kids and make something happen or show us something to bring this thing down. Now, let me connect some dots for you. When you look at Fast and the Furious, that had to do with Clinton, Holder, and Obama. They were trafficking guns to traffickers. They were trafficking guns to cartel members who are traffickers. Now we find that cartel members who are traffickers, who got guns, are trafficking kids. But why is this so deep? Because Hillary Clinton, who who has been caught up with this trafficking of guns, and the guns going to the cartels, they know it's a connection. Now, Hillary Clinton also is connected to, her and her husband created what is called the ASFA law in 1997, American Safe Families Act, that allows them to take kids from their parents, and forgive me, they're called little ones, but I'm saying kids because that's what everybody relates to, but take little ones from their parents, and when they take little ones from their parents, they sever their rights in courts that are called Title 4E courts, that I've been showing you guys are not real courts. They are not courts of record. They're from the executive branch. It breaks the separation of powers clause. It is illegal as heck, but they are stealing our kids, and because attorneys and judges are taking part in this private business where they take our kids, it has been nothing that people can do about it, because the police have a contract, the sheriffs have a contract, DCS or CPS has a contract with the federal government to get money for taking kids. This is, look at what Melinda put up. This is from 1997, the Safe Families Act. Now, why is this important? I want you guys to think. Hillary Clinton, who made the American Safe Families, the Clintons who made the American Safe Families Act, or put it into place. We don't know where they got it from, but they put it in place, right? When they put this Safe Families Act in place, they took kids from their biological parents and they gave them over to different people. Now, in this same area, there was a man named Frocham, I think David Frocham, who was in the military, and he got caught up and in trouble in the military for pretty much raping kids, okay? Now, what's crazy is that this same man ended up running a sex trafficking ring in Tucson, Arizona, down not too far from where they're trafficking the kids in this new compound that they found on a property called CMEX. Now, the property called CMEX, what's crazy is the guy who found the property, I don't know him, he don't know me. He said, oh, that property is the property where CMEX has given it to the traffickers. Now, this is too crazy to even make up. CMEX has given the property to the traffickers. Clinton, Obama, and Holder and all those guys were giving guns to the traffickers, to the point that one of the border control agents who got killed got shot by a gun, that when they traced the gun back, it was registered to a gun that the government took. So the government is telling you to turn in all your guns. Then the government is trafficking your kids through a law made by Hillary Clinton. CMEX is a company that is giving a site and abandoning it where they have kids being trafficked there with trees that real low on the tree is what they call it's called sex rape trees, where the tree has straps on it and is really low, and they strap the person to the tree while people come and rape the person. But the trees are so small that kids can be put on it. Now let's look at these connections. CMEX has investors connected to it, one of them under the name Clinton. Hillary Clinton is connected to it. Her foundation is connected to it. They've exchanged billions of dollars. ASFA, where do you get billions of dollars from? Where do you get billions of dollars from? Well, ASFA pays from our Social Security to take the kids from the parents, and then the money goes to undisclosed parties who are running private business, acting like they're in courts, as I've been telling you guys, and they are not courts. So then DCS is known by some study that was done recently, not DCS, CPS as a whole, 80% of the sex trafficking victims come through foster care. 80%. So that means that most of the people who end up in sex trafficking came through foster care, and foster care is connected to the Clinton family, who made a law in 1997 that gave incentives to DCS, a private company, a private company all the way across the nation. It's a single and separate unit based on the program, meaning it's a private business. It is not government, and they are running the system, and kids are disappearing all the time, and they don't have to tell because they put it in trust. Why would they put it in trust? Why would they say the best interest of the child when most children end up missing from their system? All right, but let's connect some more dots. So the cartels years ago, when people started getting arrested, they said, oh, well, the main guy spilled some stuff and said, oh, they are giving us guns, and they told us we can rape people and kill people and do different things and create havoc around the border, and they won't do anything. Why would they do that if they did? They can cause chaos and make Americans want to give up their guns while they're trafficking America's kids. You don't want America's kids to freaking know that you're trafficking their kids when they have guns. This is exactly what Hitler and them did. They would rape and they would pillage and do these different things, but they took the weapons from the people. They took the kids and made them go to special events for their best interests on weekends. Then they started making it mandatory. Then they said, look, if you don't deliver your kids to us on the weekends, you're going to jail. Okay? So now our kids are being stripped from us and taken by a law made through Hillary. If you look at my page last night, I posted the documents that show that CMEX has been funded by Clinton. Now there's a sex trafficking system on the property of CMEX, and the guys who are there are saying that they gave it to the cartels. The cartels were giving guns by Clinton, Obama, and all of those guys. Then a border patrol agent got shot by the freaking gun, one of the freaking guns that the Clintons, Obama, and Holder gave in the Fast and the Furious situation to these cartels. Now, this is super, super deep, because you start connecting these dots and you start to see really fast why the FBI won't hear us. And I'm gonna make a connection that's gonna blow you guys away, because I had a battle with these guys over Bible stuff, and they made death threats to me. But let's make some more connections so we can see how deep this thing is. So look at this. Over 200 children missing in Arizona under the scrutiny of DCS CPS with no information. That was said at the meeting on Friday. So Melinda just hit a good point. So children are ending up missing, right? But Arizona is able to get paid anywhere between $6,000 to $10,000 with DCS, which is a private business, per child taken, based on this incentive that Hillary Clinton made. Let's take it a step further. When our little guys are taken, right? If we take our little guys and run away with them, we get a company called Amber Alert or Alert Sense, which sends the police and everybody in the state after the parents because they say we are kidnapping our own children. So they just got a guy who's working as an administrative judge. He's not a judicial judge, who signs off on a document that is only for administrative purposes, not to say it's a warrant to take your kid, and they deceive the parents. Then they steal your kids. Then if you try to take the kids back, they use Amber Alert to catch you and to get the police to come after you. Now, just what Melinda said, Laura Silsby. So just peep game. Look, just check this out. Laura Silsby, who's connected to Hillary Clinton through her assistant, I think it's Abedin. Abedin kept telling Hillary Clinton about this woman and her foundation in her emails. And now we're starting to see how true this is. Look, you can't make this stuff up. When you look at this woman, Laura Silsby, go look it up on WikiLeaks once you get off of this with me. Write it down and go look and see if I'm freaking lying to you. Laura Silsby got arrested for trafficking 33 kids, trying to take them out of the country, out of Haiti. Now, when she tried to take these kids out of Haiti, she got caught, but not many people tell us that she tried to take another 50 before that. And then you see in the emails how Hillary's assistant is talking about this woman and her foundation, but they're over there trying to traffic kids. So she gets arrested, goes to jail for trying to traffic 33 kids, right? It's said that Hillary helped her by giving her an attorney. One of her first attorneys was Jorge Pulo. Jorge Pulo, guess what? He was in trouble for trying to trafficking kids, trafficking kids in, I think, Ecuador, South America, and in Haiti too. So the attorney you use is a child trafficker. The woman who is the child trafficker, she gets arrested. She gets sentenced. Hillary helps her. They bring her charges down. Then after they bring her charges down, guess where she ends up working? She comes to Arizona and ends up working in what's called Alert Sense as one of the head reps. And Alert Sense is the company that actually is over Amber Alert, that sends people to take your kids when they traffic your kids. So when DCS wants to steal your kids based on the law that's non-positive law, is not a positive law, Title 42, and ASFA under Hillary Clinton, under the Clintons, you'll find that ASFA actually signed in 1997 gives them an incentive to take your little ones. The woman who's the child trafficker got hired in Arizona even though it was known that she was a child trafficker. She was known to be arrested for child trafficking. She was arrested for child trafficking. She spent time in jail for child trafficking. Her lawyer was a child trafficker. And then she could come to Arizona after that and get a job with the company that actually sends out Amber Alerts to get children that the parents took back. Because it's getting to the point now that every time that Amber Alert sends out something, people say, oh, that must be DCS trying to take somebody's kids again. We already know what it is now. We know what it is. So the thing is that we have people trafficking kids. We got attorneys for DCS watching our Facebook pages. They should be working with DCS. They're watching our Facebook pages because we're telling all the stuff that they're doing. I'm going to tell you something else that's going on now. We just had 2 paralegals, a psychiatrist, and a psychologist all dealing with DCS and family court get shot in 1 day, or 1 or 2 days, and killed in a place called Scottsdale, Arizona. That's one of the nicest, most upscale places that just don't have shootings going on every day. But in broad daylight, they're getting shot by hitmen. Now they're saying, yeah, good to see you, Mike Gill. Now it's being said by the attorneys, oh, we're the family court attorneys who aren't even a real freaking court. And I'm gonna hit on that in a second. Somebody remind me if I don't say it. The family court attorneys are scared to go to work now. Funny. Why are you scared to go? Hey, Cindy, why are you scared to go to work? The thing is that the people are finding out that, oh, shucks, this isn't really a government entity. This is a private business running, getting money for our kids being taken, trafficking our kids. Now we find places where traffickers are actually having sex with kids, and there's freaking an incinerator there where you can just burn the kids up. I've been told, and I haven't checked this, but you can look it up, that in order to have concrete, that you have to have ash too. So if you got burned kids, they could be right inside of the concrete. Now, I found something deep last night, and I'm not trying to say this is 100% for sure, but it's something that's worth looking at. When you get criminals, they will use fake names. As the video I showed you where the judges and the attorneys are not bringing the cases to this fake family and juvenile court in their real name. A lot of times they're changing their name a little bit so that it looks different. They're using their first initial, signing documents that way or not signing them at all. It's a really, really, really big scam going on here. And the people are finding out, and it's coming out, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and it's snowballing. And people across the nation are realizing that we've been duped into believing we're going to court, and it's really not a real court. Now, it sounds like I'm crazy for saying it's not a real court, but let me explain to you how bad this is. You could go look in the Supreme Court of Arizona, and you'll find what's called the Supreme Court Roll of Attorneys. By law, if a person wants to practice law in the courts of Arizona, they have to be on the Supreme Court Roll of Attorneys or they cannot practice law. Well, there's a person in Arizona right now who's getting their kid taken who has an attorney named Ann Williams. I know why the family court attorneys don't want to go to work today. I know why they want to stay home. Ann Williams is no longer licensed to be able to practice law in Arizona. She was removed from the roll of attorneys. I showed you guys how on the roll of attorneys they were changing their names from the one they gave the oath up under. Well, I believe her name is Ann Williams, and if somebody remembers, put the link up. Ann Williams was kicked off of the role of attorneys and not allowed to practice law in any court in the state of Arizona. But guess where she's practicing law? The parents who are losing their kids in the family law hoax, the parents who are losing their kids, one of the parents right now has an attorney named Ann Williams who is kicked off the role of attorneys and not allowed to practice law in any Arizona court. So what is the juvenile court if she can practice law there? If she can represent a parent and she's been disbarred, what kind of due process are they giving parents? What kind of love are they giving to us when they traffic our kid and then give us an attorney that's been kicked off the bar? What ethics do they have to have? What ethics at all? The attorney that I had called me and said, hey, if you don't give them kids up, it's going to get real ugly. And I audio taped it. I'll put the tape up for y'all. She's supposed to be my attorney. They have a so-called order that's an administrative order that has no power in any man or woman's life. An administrative order is not a judicial order. They took my kids and they ended up, they took my kids and, they told me that I would get a charge if I didn't give them my little guys. But the order was administrative. So now you don't have to be an actual lawyer anymore or at all to work in the so-called juvenile court to take somebody's kid, which is an administrative court, and I got the documents to prove it. I'll show you guys from their own documents. I got a ton more new stuff I done prayed to God for. He gave it to me. If I show it to you guys, it'll make y'all fall out your chair. Okay? So now we got, from what I just talked about today, there you go. Ann Williams, bar complaint. She is, thank you, Big Leonard Anthony. We have the biggest battle we've ever faced in our life, and the news was ignoring us. We're like, why in the world is the news ignoring us? I'm going to take it another step for y'all. The news has been ignoring us. When you look at Gandhi, right? Just take it back to Gandhi. Look at the Croatian Holocaust. He was ignored when there was a certain group that took over. They took over the prime minister position, the head police position, and the head church position. What ended up happening was these same people bought the interest to the news, so that when people wanted to tell, the people wanted to say, hey, they're killing us in the street. This group from Rome was killing the people in the streets, taking their kids, raping people, and it was so bad that the monks started setting themselves on fire just to be able to get stuff heard on the news. And when people started talking about what was happening to them, the news back then wanted to make it look like it was a conspiracy theory, just like they're doing us. So when we come and we say, hey, they're taking our kids, they're taking our kids, and we go to all the news stations in Arizona, they say, oh, they're just disgruntled parents with these conspiracy theories that the juvenile court is bad. Then when I say, I'll challenge any one of you to show me that Title 42 is positive law, any lawyer, any news station, they shut down, or they want to say, oh, it's crazy, it's this, it's that. But now we're finding bodies. And I told y'all, based on the power of God, I told y'all that God is going to knock this thing down and they will not be able to stop the people. It will not happen, okay? The people are going to stand up. The people are going to get angry. They're going to find out. See, I'm not going to keep begging and telling the judges that are not real judges in their administrative capacity. I'm not going to keep telling the judges. I'm not going to keep telling the police, because I'm going to tell you something. This is going to connect the dots too. The police, when we make calls, right? And we try to say, hey, DCS stole our kids. They threatened us to give them to them. Then they stole our kids. They gave us fake orders that were not signed. And they say, oh, well, you must just be a disgruntled parent. Go call DCS. Tell them. No. We're not going to play this game. But what happens is I'm going to let you guys know something. There's something in Title 42 called cooperative agreements. And when you look at cooperative agreements, it's agreements with programs, not laws, programs with state actors. And in order for the state to receive the money from the kids they traffic, they don't have to find anything that has been legally done wrong to kids or lawfully. They don't have to find that a kid has been hurt. They don't have to find anything like that in the state sides. But one thing that it says is that there must be a judicial determination that is not in the best interest for the kids to be in the house. That means that a real court, a court of competent jurisdiction, you got your butt arrested, or there was a warrant placed because you did something bad, you got caught, and you got busted, and now we know that it's not in the best interest of the kids to stay with you. But that's not what they're doing. They're getting an administrative court under the administrative offices of the court to make orders which are null and void because it's coming from the executive branch through DCS, just like child support orders, is null and void, but they're taking your kids, right? So then when you try to tell, hey, these people are just stealing our kids, they're coming with police officers, with SWAT teams and guns. Why? Because under the cooperative agreement, you have to have police who will help you, and they're signed by contract and get money from the system. You got to have psychologists to help you to give diagnosis, which are under the Title 4E Program 2 contract. So they're getting paid to do it. So every kid they take, every diagnosis they give, helps the system to take more kids to make money. And DCS, who's in control of all of it, is a privately owned business. It's a private, single, separate unit based on the demands of Title 42. So Hillary Clinton and the American Safe Families Act had a ton to do with them being able to take the kids. The system has it where there's contracts with all types of government officials that are working in their private capacity to take the kids. That's why when they come take your kids, it's supposed to be what's called an officer assist. The officer comes with DCS to make sure that you don't get crazy and there's no violence. But they're not supposed to get into the middle of private family matters over custody, because that's what they call a civil issue. But tell me why, when you call them, they say, oh, it's a civil issue, we can't get in between that. But when DCS says it, they come with guns, because the attorneys for the police are making them think that they have lawful authority, which they don't, to take your kid. Your kid belongs to you. And without due process of law, meaning that you've been through a court of your peers, a jury of your peers, they steal your kids. Okay? Then they drug your kids. All right? So the drug companies are making tons of money. So there's a big cycle. And there's a big connection where our little ones are being trafficked. They're using the police to steal them. They're giving the same people who created the law to traffic our kids are also connected to giving guns to traffickers. The guns of traffickers have been the traffickers have been implicated, and the people who have given the guns, by a border patrol agent being shot by traffickers. Okay? By the guns, and this is how they found out about Fast and Furious. So if you look at all these connections, you look at Silsby, she was trafficking kids in Haiti. You look at her attorney, he was trafficking kids in Haiti and Ecuador. You put that all together and find out that Silsby starts working for the company that DCS uses to traffic kids. She had a company where she was taking kids in the name of the best interest of the children. They said, we're going to go to Haiti and bring these kids to America, to Christian homes, and do good things for them and be good to them. And these kids weren't even all fostered. Some of these kids had families that loved them, and they were with the families, and the families were taking care of them. The kids end up missing. This woman trying to take them across the border to bring them to Christian homes, right? Come on now. Come on. Listen, people. The FBI and the news don't want to talk about this. 2 news companies showed this that are lower level, that I seen in Tucson, Arizona, about this child trafficking camp. Now let's go a little bit deeper. So we see all these connections, right? So we see the company CMEX. CMEX is actually owned by, I believe, Rothschild, who is the mayor, I believe, of Tucson, is what I heard yesterday. But when you go look at CMEX, you'll find on my post what I put up yesterday. Oh shucks, Laura Silsby was busted in the Dominican Republic with 30 plus kids. Dang it. It's just crazy, you know. But these people have told us that they're trying to work in the best interests of our children. Ooh, let me give you something else. One thing that's really deep about that too is that for the first time at our meeting we had on Friday, where we started exposing more of how our kids are being trafficked and how they're lying and acting like they're doing things in the best interest of the children, but they're really raping our children and doing all types, putting them in with guys like Frocham, who's already known as a sex offender. The little girl in Surprise, he registered as a sex offender in the freaking house. Okay, he did what he was supposed to do. They still put a foster kid in there with him. He raped the kid, offended. So Arizona's in trouble for that one. Then we have the 18-year-old boy who made 30-something calls, and Melinda can attest to this. 30-something calls to police and DCS to let them know that he's been raped as a 17-year-old, I believe, and over some years, like 10 years or so. This guy was calling, telling he was getting raped, telling what was happening, and DCS, CPS, and the police in Tucson would do nothing, okay? Nothing. The woman who told DCS that her kid was getting raped by Frocham, she's like, look, something's happening. I think my kid is getting raped. They got so mad at her for saying that she thinks her kid is getting raped. Guess what they did? They severed her rights because of that. So when you tell that you think somebody's raping your kids, they want to sever your rights. Now, the truth is that they can't sever your rights because they're not a court of competent jurisdiction. They're not a real court. Juvenile court is what's called a Title 4E court, and they've been given permission under Clinton that they can just take your rights. But who the freak ever signed up to have their rights taken from private individuals? Nobody signed up for that. Look, these courts are about contract. That's why they try to get you to sign a safety plan, okay? They try to get you to sign a safety plan so they can say, oh, they gave us a contract and told us that we could steal their kids, okay? This is how silly it is. It is not about government. Now, and Melinda said it right, because she was interfering with her placement. See, they want to put the kids where they want to put the kids, even if it's in danger. When they put the kids in a dangerous place, they're upset if you mess it up. Why? Because child traffickers need places to put the kids to traffic more kids. They can't just hold them as middlemen. They ain't got nowhere for them to go. That's why the kids are sleeping on desks. They're taking 30 plus kids a day. I believe it's around 36 with no warrants, okay? Look at what Melinda says. Safety plan is an admission of guilt. Even if you do nothing wrong, these so-called social workers are coming to the parents and saying, if you don't sign this paper, you will never see your kids again. And that contract is the contract that allows them to never let you see your kids again. I never signed the dang contract. I'm like, look, I ain't signing nothing. Look, it's going to be what it is. You can take my kids and kidnap them and run as far as you want to, but I ain't signing none of your stuff, and I'm not complying with your garbage because I could see that they were fraudulent. I could see that it wasn't a real court. They could not be trusted. And the more that I went on and learned, the more that I realized, like, oh, shucks, these people are working under the executive branch, but they're making judicial orders. DCS, together with the Attorney General's office, is making pickup orders for little ones with no judge involved. So the whole plan and project is based under Title 4E. Then they work with the Administrative Office of the Courts as superior viewing agency and court services to get the court to work as an extension of the Title E agency. So then they're all in the executive branch. The judges are working in their executive capacity. They cannot write orders. I showed y'all that. I showed y'all the case law that said that a judge cannot write orders when they are in their administrative capacity. They don't have the power to write a warrant. So when they do these things called court orders or warrant, you can go look at the language. It's going to be from an administrative officer or some commissioner or something like that. It's not going to be from a judicial person. But we're connecting dots right now. So the Fast and the Furious gave guns to cartels. One of those guns killed a border control agent, and it traced it back to the Clintons, Obama, Holder, and all those guys. Those same guys, Clinton created the ASFA law, which is the American Safe Families Act, that allows these people to take the kids. Now there's a company called CMEX in Tucson that has a place in Tucson. There's a child traffic camp found there, okay? And then the people there are saying that, oh, CMEX gave the camp to the traffickers, okay? The traffickers are the ones who were given guns by the Clintons. I mean, by Clinton, Holder, and all those guys in Fast and the Furious. We know this because the guy was killed, and I know somebody who went to jail involved in that situation. So understanding that, we got traffickers giving guns. One of the main cartel members was told that they could rape people, shoot people, and kill people along the border, and they would not get arrested. And for a while, we found that they were raping people, shooting people, and killing people, and not getting arrested until that gun got tied back to the Fed. Clinton also made the American Safe Families Act. Now, that same American Safe Families Act that allowed them to traffic our kids who have been ending up missing in foster care, If you go on my page, you'll see a post that talks about CMEX, and you'll find out that Clinton has been involved in CMEX. The one who wrote the law was involved with CMEX doing business with billions of dollars, which one easy way to get billions of dollars is to traffic kids and get the money from the Social Security, because that's what's happening. The American Safe Families Act allow you to steal money from people's Social Security and use it to pay DCS or CPS across the nation for kids. The kids are being lost. 500 of them went lost inside of Florida at one time. 500 kids gone, and they wouldn't tell where they went. So they're sworn to secrecy. They're shrouded in secrecy and in shadows. And they tell us that for the best interest of the kids, they don't have to tell us where the kids are missing or how they died or where they went. They ain't got to tell you nothing. So that American Safe Families Act made by Clinton has been found to have a connection. I got the post on my page. She's connected to CMEX through business, but the child trafficking rape camp is on CMEX's property. Now I'm gonna get to the thing I was telling you guys about, the big group that has been in trouble all over the world for raping kids and killing kids. And I'm going to show you a connection that a lot of you guys don't know. Might get me killed, but I'm going to praise God because he's good, and I don't give a freak what happens to me. If something does happen and this thing comes down, y'all grab my babies, get my baby Dave, Josiah, Jazzy, and Christian. Y'all get them and y'all keep them, make sure they're taken care of, make sure my family's taken care of. But I'm going to tell y'all something that y'all might not know. So Bill Clinton went to Georgetown University and is Jesuit trained. Jesuits are the militia for the Vatican. Look up Jesuit $166 million lawsuit for child sex trafficking and rape and murder. The Jesuits actually have been known to take kids all over the world, and they have been sex traffickers all over. Y'all better download this video because it ain't gonna be up long when I talk about these people. So I had a battle with the Jesuits some years ago, and I found out that the Jesuits were a society that worked with the Vatican, and they have been sex trafficking kids for the longest. They had, I think, the bodies of 800 kids. I believe it was in Ireland, where they stole kids, raped them, killed them, and left them in a big field outside. There's documentation to show this really happened. But if you look at Doug Ducey, who is the governor who will not listen to the parents, notice that the governor has been notified about this child trafficking site, and they ain't going. The FBI has been notified about this child trafficking site, and they ain't going. And this, if the CIA is notified, they ain't going. Let me tell you why. If you go look up online and look up Google and say Jesuits and FBI, you're going to find out that the Jesuits have ran the FBI for like decades. If you look at the CIA, you're going to find out that the Jesuits run the CIA for decades. They always have people from the Jesuits or high Vatican members running the CIA and the FBI. Now, we're finding out that the FBI won't go. But if you look at it, the FBI have been connected to the Jesuits, who have been connected to child sex slavery and rape all around the world. And it's coming out now, all these pedophile busts of priests and high Vatican members is coming out now. People are seeing the truth. It is what it is. You know, not saying that everybody in the Vatican is just some pedophile. That's not what I'm saying. There's a lot of followers in the Vatican and the Catholic Church that are very loyal, loving people that want to do right by God. But we can't go to sleep and say that we ain't seeing that all these pedophiles in that church are dying, falling out of airplanes, getting arrested. The second head man next to the Pope, who's a Jesuit, got arrested. There's a woman who came out and told that she saw the Pope getting involved in sex trafficking so this ain't something that's just hidden. This is the freaking truth, okay? Well, Doug Ducey, who is the governor, is a Jesuit. He's Jesuit trained. His son, you can look up the news article, you'll see where his son talked about him being a Jesuit, running a Jesuit campaign. You look at when he talks about welfare in that article, you're going to see where he talks about his Jesuit faith, his son accusing him of running a Jesuit campaign. You will find that the Jesuits have been got in trouble, not arrested because they're really powerful people. They've been in trouble for trafficking kids. So now you connect the fact that Bill Clinton, Georgetown Jesuit University, he's been in trouble for this ASFA situation, and they're wondering if he's involved in pedophilia with high people. He's connected to this CMEX company because they're doing business together financially with billions of dollars in business. And I posted the link for you. Yes, I mean the picture for you yesterday. Now, you look at Ducey. He went to go visit with the Jesuit Pope in 2014. And right around 2014, you start seeing the graph go up of the number of kids being taken in Arizona goes up astronomically compared to any other year. And ever since then, they're taking thousands and thousands and thousands of kids a year, and they won't even talk to the parents to explain to them what's going on. Ken Pellerin, who's winning a lawsuit in Arizona right now, it looks like he's on the side of winning. He tried to send letters to the governor to talk to him and make appointments. He tried to send letters to Greg McKay. They will not talk to him. They will not talk to the parents that they're taking kids from. So they're snatching the kids. They're using their minions to do it, who are low-level social workers who are getting caught lying in courts, turning in fake evidence, you know, all types of stuff. You saw us in the meeting on Friday, blowing them out the water, exposing what they were doing. They wanted to shut us up, and we weren't having it. We're like, no, this ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna just shut us up, okay? It's not gonna happen. But this group, the Jesuits, have paid $166 million lawsuit for raping multiple kids. You see, the Vatican just had one that was $4 billion, okay? This is not something that we could just cover up. No matter how much you love the people, no matter how much you love religion, you can't cover up that they've been getting caught trafficking kids, okay? This is just how it is. And either we're going to praise somebody who put a cape and a robe on, or we're going to love our kids who came from us, who are getting raped. We can only do one or the other. But Georgetown University, Jesuit University, Bill Clinton went there. Joe Biden, who also has been seen groping on girls on video, is a Jesuit. Okay, so this is something that happens often, and I can't say if something happened to them when they were younger, where they got raped or whatever, or something like that. But I know now that there's too many so-called coincidences happening at the same time that we really need to look at and just stop and say, look, let's just be men. Let's just be strong women. Let's not let the news tell us. Because if you look at Rupert Murdoch, who owns a ton of news, he was knighted in the Vatican. So he controls a lot of what's going to come out on the news, and you can't just put what you want to put. But the problem is that the people are too strong. The people are coming out and saying, look, we know you're trafficking our kids, and we're not going to take it no more. We're going to tell everything you're doing. You're going to put gag orders on us in a fake court, a court that's not even a court of competent jurisdiction. They're putting gag orders on us, telling us we can't talk about our kids being taken against the law. So let's backtrack and let's see what's happening here, because Mike Gill, it's funny that Mike Gill has shown some of these same things in New Hampshire, how the government is coming together with drug dealers and people like that, and bad things are happening. And as a matter of fact, go look it up online, look up Doug Ducey Mafia. You're going to find out that Doug Ducey has a side of his family that's connected to the mafia. Okay, so there's organized crime ties in his family. There's Jesuit ties in his family. He talks about it. And then we see that Jesuits have killed people around the world. Okay, you don't have to take my word for it. Look up the Inquisition. You're going to see, you know, they helped fund Hitler. Hitler helped take kids, traffic them. Then he started killing parents. Like, this stuff is out of control. And so these people who follow the same type of ideology as Hitler, we can't be dumb where we just say, oh, okay, well, they're government, so it's conspiracy theory, let's just not pay attention to it. Well, when you find little baby clothes and kid clothes and strollers and used condoms in a trafficking site up in Tucson, and the government won't come, and then the same government is ran by the same group of people who have been known to traffic kids in high places. So the Jesuits have very high positions in politics. George Bush, Joe Biden is one. I think Kane and Pence both shared time as being Jesuit, I believe. Shucks, even Trump, who I like what he's doing. Trump was from Jesuit Fordham University. So a lot of these guys are from these universities. I think Trump has an attitude to do whatever he wants to do, and so now a lot of this stuff is being exposed about the sex trafficking. But I believe there's so much sex trafficking. And let me prove something else to you guys. Do you guys remember a few years back, probably more than a few years, probably about 10 years back or more, there was a show that came on the news that told that there was 52 or 5,300 computers in the Pentagon and the White House that had child porn on it. You remember that? They only investigated 1,700 of them, and then they stopped. So why would we have a situation where 53 or 5,200 people or computers had child sex pictures on it in the White House and the Pentagon, but they can't interview everybody and they can't find out what happened and they can't send everybody to jail? Why is that? What's happening is that at high levels, very successful and powerful people, not your average everyday person, but very successful and powerful people are trafficking kids, raping kids, and the people are finding out about it. And it seems like the news will put stuff up every once in a while to let us know kind of like it's happening, but then they'll suppress it and get rid of it. There won't be a follow-through of finding out why these political officials are not being arrested. Then we see stuff like Podesta, right? We see the Podesta emails. We see these people getting in trouble. We see these people going to jail, and they say a few of them go to jail. A few of them get in trouble, and we find out, like this Hollywood guy, I can't remember his name, but a few of these guys get in trouble, and then the other guys just keep going, keep raping kids like it's no big deal. We see the billionaire who raped a kid and got like I don't know if it was like 30 days in jail or 60 days probation or something stupid like that. Some ridiculous sentence, okay? These people are trafficking kids. We have proof they're trafficking kids. Harvey Weinstein, that's it. These people are all coming together and they're getting caught and they're telling on each other. 700 people in the White House before Obama left. Now, there was another time where 5,200 or something, 5,300 people. And I'm just trying to help you guys to remember so we don't keep looking at these things like things that are not connected. The word paranoia, right? The word paranoia did not used to mean that you're crazy. The word paranoia meant that you were like a detective. You could take some things that people would not notice that are connected, and you could take clues from different things and you could put things together. That used to be a good thing, But people don't want you to know what's going on when people in high places are using your kids as what they call FUCK toys. That's what they call them. I showed you a guy who is running for Congress now, who actually, he's running for Congress, I believe, and he is a known pedophile, and he admits that he's a pedophile. Like, he has these pedophile tendencies. And this man said, look, all you have to do is adopt you a F toy. Calling a kid a FUCK toy. All you got to do is adopt a little boy and girl. You can have sex with them as much as you want to and do whatever. And, you can adopt them for free or cheap. So this guy is a politician and knows that you can adopt someone's kid to use as a sex slave and just rape them, and he ain't got no problem with it. And he's telling people. He even said he'll have sex with his own daughter if he could, but his wife don't leave the daughter with him. So this is what he said on a private website, and he got caught. And he's running for Congress or something now. This is the type of stuff that should be making us say this is evil and dirty and nasty, but we've been trained to believe that political figures lie, so it's just okay. We've been trained to believe that everything is a conspiracy theory. Don't look at it, don't worry about it, let the government figure it out. But the thing is, the people are the government. So now, real men and women are finding that kids are being trafficked, okay? We're finding that kids are being trafficked. We're finding their clothes. And we find a man who has found this stuff and say, look, give glory to God. It ain't me. We just stumbled upon this. God has given us something to do. So the same military officials that there's programs, that there's money. Let's see, do you think there's a scheme to get people? Oh, heck yeah. So I heard that people go to that rape mansion and they take pictures, get them drunk with these drugs, and they take pictures of them with these, kids or with prostitutes, so that they have dirt on them, so that if they tell, they get in trouble. So this is why I believe you see the government officials fighting each other right now. They're ratting on each other. They're holding back and they're not ratting on each other, because when you got dirt on you, you don't want to tell the truth. And so the thing is that us normal people who aren't billionaires and aren't filthy rich from trafficking, we're the only ones that can actually stop this thing as the people. We need to rise up as the people again. And Ryan, you know me, I love you, bro. Like, you're a powerful businessman, and Ryan saw me in one of my most powerful states of business, where I'm making money left and right. Like Mike Gill said, in the state of corruption, New York. He was making all this money, doing all this business. He was making way more than me. This dude is like, he's a monster, right? But I was making money that I didn't even care. Like, I could just have money all the time. I did what I wanted to do, have fun with my kids. Everybody saw them on lives doing videos. And I believe God let me get into this situation, because the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And so a lot of us have been blessed, and some of you might not believe in God, but just hear what I'm saying. A lot of us have been blessed with a whole lot. So when it comes time for God to check your heart and see if you stand with him or not, and he stops you from doing business, slow everything down, and make you run into a situation where he's trying to save kids, okay? The guy who found those kids in Tucson, his team, were a bunch of ex-military guys. Now, military guys been killing themselves every single day because they can't get any treatment. The government is sending them to go kill people in other places, but they come back and they can't even get treatment from the VA. They can't get their benefits. They're fighting, they're homeless, and killing themselves. And there's programs that money is being spent that is supposed to go to them, but the government officials are not giving it to them. So the same thing with DCS. The government is spending money from a program that's saying it's for the best interest of the children, but children are disappearing, getting raped all over the place. And now it's come to the time where there's a lot of sad women. There's a lot of sad men we're just saying, screw this. We're not taking anymore. And from all these different directions, we're hitting them. And then it's funny, they make a new rule that says, oh, well, we can keep doing the ASFA money and the Title IV money, but what we'll do is keep the kids in the house now. Oh, you want to keep our kids in the house. You want to use that as an option to appease the people. You're not going to freaking appease us. We know that our kids have been given to traffickers. We know that David Frodsham got in trouble in Afghanistan or some other nation for sexual acts, deviant acts with young people. And he always wanted to be over the kids programs. And this guy was in Sierra Vista or Tucson, whatever it is, near Tucson. This guy was raping kids and letting military officers come raping kids, running a trafficking ring. And you can't say you don't know what this guy was doing, because he was doing it before he became a foster parent. Then you give him a little girl, and this little girl is on video crying out to her mama, begging for her mama, while some grown man penetrates her, and she's 2 years old or 3 or whatever she is at that time. Then you take her from that home. You won't give her back to her mom after you use her up and rape her, or let her get raped by this nasty man when you never prosecuted the mom in the first place. You take the little girl from the mom on allegations. You let this little girl get raped. See, I don't get worked up very often, but when you let little kids get raped and you take our kids for nothing, you don't prosecute us because you know that we didn't do anything wrong, but you're making billions of dollars off of our kids across the nation, and then you go put them in houses where they get raped. You can't say that it's just a mistake or oversight. Little girl get raped in this situation. Little girl get raped over in Surprise, 6 years old or something like that, gets raped, and the guy registered as a sex offender in the house. You still put her in the house. But when our own parents want to get our little guys, our own parents want to take our kids, after you steal them from us, you make them go through hell to get them. But you're giving our kids to sex traffickers. You're giving our kids to sex traffickers. You're giving sex traffickers guns. You want to take the guns away from the American people, and we're seeing that you're trafficking our kids. And then you give the guns to the very people who are trafficking our kids. Then the people who you give guns to end up shooting government officials, and you get caught being the one who's giving the guns. You also are the ones who are making the laws to be able to, not even laws, you're making statutes and codes to be able to steal our kids. You're writing yourself a permission slip to be able to traffic our kids. And look, guys, I know people don't believe in that Pizzagate stuff, but In the Pizzagate stuff, you see them ordering kids by pizza menu stuff, like, oh, I want a slice of pizza. Oh, I want this one to have pepperoni or something like that, and there was one that meant pubic hair or something, you know? And the FBI is showing that, oh, this is what these terms mean. Okay? So you got these people trafficking our kids, but what was really strange last night, when I looked at that document for CMEX, it used words that should not be used in a place that you could tell it's almost like secret code language. So while they're telling how there was a negotiation between the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons and their funds, and CMEX, that company that, and I'm sorry for jumping around, it's so much. The child trafficking site that was found, right? The child trafficking site that was found was owned by a company named CMEX. People said that the people around there said that CMEX gave the site to the cartels. The cartels are the ones trafficking the kids, right? They're getting money from trafficking the kids. They got coyotes transporting people. They got rape sites where the little kids, they're really low straps that you can strap on a tree where you rape the kids at, use condoms all over there, sex toys all over there, kids dolls. Marissa Hamilton reported on this yesterday, who was running for governor in Arizona. She's a powerful and monstrous lady who's putting her life on the line. She's been reporting DCS and DCS, CPS for a long time. My video is starting to slow down and mess up. She's been reporting them for a long time. But she went out there herself. This is a woman, not some, big buff burly man. This is a woman who went out there to view the site, to talk to the people who ran for governor. Okay? She talked about how there was Barbie dolls with lingerie on them. Barbie dolls with lingerie. She talked about how there was kids' toys, used condoms, sex toys, all types of stuff. There were straps. I believe the gentleman who was the military, ex-military guy, said that there was straps and stuff, and there was even blood on some of the stuff, okay? Now, CMEX, if you go look at my page, is in business with the Clintons, who made the law that allowed people to be able to traffic kids. Now, it's really strange that DCS can traffic kids and lose them. Nobody knows where they went. The federal government just took 1,500 kids from what they call illegal skipping over the border, and they lost them. There's a sex trafficking site in Tucson for little kids that's been found by ex-military. They brought in professionals, and they found what they call rape trees where little kids are getting raped. Okay? The location is the CMEX property. CMEX is in business with the family, the Hillary Clinton family. They're in business together. The Clintons brought in the ASFA law that allows parents to lose their children and for DCS to take them, a private business taking the kids who are not the government, okay? DCS or CPS is not a government entity. It's its own single and separate unit, and I will show you guys the laws and break it down like I broke all the other stuff down. So we're being duped. They're running a private court. The private court is called the Title 4E court. It is not a judicial court. It is not the Supreme Court of Arizona. It is not the court that you would go to if they were trying to take you to jail. And I showed you in the Guardian Ad Litem handbook where it said that. So our kids have been missing, killed, and raped. Now we find that since January, there has been 50 near-death experiences or deaths with kids in DCS since January. That's 7.2 kids a month that are either missing or dead, and nobody's telling us nothing. Or near dead. Nobody's telling us nothing. Near dead or dead. Nobody's explaining to us what's happening because DCS is a private business. It doesn't have to tell you it's business. It's connected to trust. Look up Northern Trust. You're going to find out that they're connected to Northern Trust. Northern Trust is a Jesuit trust. They're very good at hiding funds and commingling funds because if you have a trust, you can literally commingle funds by your own constitution. So I know God has put me in this situation for a reason because I know about the business techniques. I told everybody about the courts using trust documents in the middle of their business. They are not giving us court orders. They're giving us administrative trust documents, okay? I'm telling you because I know. They're giving us administrative trust documents, and if you look at it, a lot of times they're not signing it at the bottom. Whoever they say the judge is, he's probably using a different name, or she, and they ain't, like, they changed their name a little bit from the one on the roll of attorneys, and they are not signing that thing most of the time. No, pretty much all of the, every single minute order I've seen has never been signed. But they tell you that's an order for you to for you to follow. Hey, we're ordering you to give up your kids and leave them with DCS, and then they don't sign it. They're tricking parents. I showed you earlier that they are using attorneys in that fake court that are no longer on the roll of attorneys and kicked off of the ability to be able to practice law in any Arizona court. So if they can't practice law in any Arizona court, when you go to that little administrative hearing with the juvenile so-called court, juvenile division of the Superior Court, what the freak do you think you're in? You're not in a court. They're stealing your kids, tricking you to believe that you're in a court and it's just an administrative hearing. They're tricking you to believe you're getting due process when you're getting none. They won't let you put any evidence on the books because there'll be a long list of criminal offenses and trafficking showing that they're lying to you, stealing your kids, threatening you to sign paperwork to give over your kids. And if you don't sign it, they tell you that you're going to get arrested, or we're going to do this or that to you, or you'll never see your kids again if you don't sign it. That's what's happening. Now, family court attorneys are scared to go to work. They want to do work from home today. Wow. And then we see a shooting in Scottsdale. Multiple people killed. And people don't want to go to work. Why? Why don't y'all come out and tell the truth? Why don't you come out and just say, hey, we've been trafficking people's kids in a court that's not a court of record. And we've been tricking parents and telling parents to give their kids over. And we've been stealing their kids, and their kids have been ending up missing. Their kids have been getting raped. We got $100 million in lawsuits in Arizona right now for government officials putting kids in trafficking homes or homes where they're getting raped. You're taking them from homes that you're not arresting the parents and haven't proved that they've done anything wrong to the point that they would get arrested, but then you put them in home with somebody who raped the heck out of them? Are you freaking serious? Are you freaking serious right now? Is that what you're going to do to the people of Arizona and the people of the United States? Take their kids from them, put them in homes where they're getting raped, they're ending up missing, they're getting trafficked. Do you really believe that the American people are going to go for this? It's not going to happen. The people are going to stand up. The people are tired. You're going to return our kids. That's what's going to happen. You're going to return our kids because the fury that you're going to see of all these people who are coming up and realizing what's going on. And like I said, I have evidence and proof of what the court is down there for juvenile court. It is not a court of record. It is not a real court. It's a private membership association. It's a private membership organization. As a matter of fact, I could just go to the definitions of the juvenile court, and I can show you that when they call you a person is a business, a private membership organization, a corporation, a trust. None of them are human beings. So they're trafficking us into the court like we're some association or company, and then they're taking our kids from us, they're lying to us, they're deceiving us, they're giving people attorneys that aren't even listed as attorney on the roll of attorneys. Are you freaking kidding me? Leonard Anthony just posted up above, down in the comments, he posted the lady Ann Williams who was kicked out of the freaking bar. And she's now representing. Please share the heck out of this, y'all. Make this super viral. We need to stand up around the nation. The people need to do this. And I'm going to tell you what. My little guys got taken, right? And I told y'all a long time ago that I love the people of the world and the people of Arizona so much that I am not going to punk out and just do whatever these freaking people say. I'm going to fight to the freaking death, okay? Why? Because my little guys are not more important than your little guys. Because I seen a lot of y'all crying. I seen a lot of y'all not knowing what to do. And I have stood with y'all and gave y'all comfort from God. And we done prayed together. And I told y'all, I said, God is going to knock this freaking thing down. He's bringing strong people together to stand up against this evil and wicked system. He is connecting the dots and showing child trafficking rings breaking, busting wide open across the nations. Judges going to jail for trafficking. Attorneys going to jail for trafficking. They're finding out that social workers are going to jail for trafficking. They all been connected in all this mess and all this filth and all this dirt. And I told y'all something. I said, listen, I am not going to punk out and kiss these people's feet just so I get my little guys back. My little guys are not any more important than your little guys. And so if there's going to be a fight to stop this stuff, we got to do it together, and we cannot be fearful. And so we got to stand up, and we got to be the David that fights Goliath. Yeah, they look like they're a big state, but they're working in their private capacity. They're getting paid money on the side. We already pay judges, okay? We pay taxes. Judges get money from that. Guardian ad litems, attorneys can get, that work for the state can get, for the government can get money from that. Courts and court personnel get paid by our taxes. Why the heck do they have another collaborative agreement and contracts with the people, not the executive branch, but people in the executive branch, to take money and get paid money from our Social Security for people getting child support and for kids getting trafficked into the system? Why do they have a totally separate business where they're paying police to help them go pick up kids? Not in their official capacity, because we pay for that. But they're getting paid that money in their private capacity. And when we try to take these clowns to court, the courts who are in bed with them, the Supreme Court of Arizona makes the rules and regulations for that little fake DCS court. They know very well that they're trafficking our kids. So then we try to go to court and we try to make a case and say, hey, they're taking our kids. And they say, oh, sorry, they're government officials. You can't sue them. You're a freaking liar. Because anytime that somebody is doing something that is ex-contract to, which means as a result of a contract, they can't be working in their official capacity. The reason they're giving you warrants for child support is because they have Title 42, and which is and the ASFA and the child support laws from Title 42. That's not law. Is non-positive law. They have contracts to make money where they take the same amount of money you get for child support. They take that matching amount of money, and the state officers and the people who are all involved, they take 66% of that money, which means that the federal government keeps 34%. So these people are found a way to bypass the law and make money without taking you to judicial courts. They're taking you to executive branch so-called courts that are state legislature courts. And then we wonder, how is it that these people in the government are coming in broke and leaving out billionaires? Not everybody invests in oil, I'm telling you. Now you look at the states. We got state officials, many of them, who own foster care homes and making money off of it. Then when you try to go tell them that our kids are being trafficked, they don't want to hear it. But they're making money off the Title 4E system, and the legislature is writing codes to give them more and more power to steal your kids. But it's all done under Title 4E, and it's not a court of record. It's not a judicial court, okay? So I need everybody to share the heck out of this. I need y'all to tell everybody, make this super viral. We've been doing very well at busting the back out of this evil and wicked system. And I'm going to tell you, see, people look at me and they say, dang, you know, this dude, like, he doesn't get angry. He's not cussing and going nuts. Look, I'm going to tell you, the goal of these people are to make families look like they're wicked and evil people. They don't have one time in history they can ever say that I've acted out. They don't have one time in history they can say I've ever been mean. As a matter of fact, I wish them blessings, and I speak to them in love, because I knew that God was going to bring this thing down. I knew God was going to come with some fire, and they don't care about it. Oh, now, Kenley K. Myers, make sure that you save me as a friend, because you just hit on some powerful stuff, and I got to talk about what you talked about. So God has shown us something super powerful, and please forgive me. If you don't believe in God, please don't get upset with me, okay? The Bible tells me that brothers are made in adversity, okay? I look at a lot of you as my brothers and sisters. I don't care if you're white, black, green, orange, or sky blue, okay? I can see clearly where a lot of us have been brought together at this time to be able to knock this system down, and we all have a piece to do, and we're waking up, and the government is trying to hold it down so we can't see it. But you could trace all the way back to the Bible where where there was this false god called Molech that they would set their kids on fire to Molech. When you look at CMEX, they have a incinerator there where they can set kids on fire. When you look at the document that I posted yesterday, you see where it says we have fostered something, adoption, in the same sentence, and then it talks about cook stoves. So a lot of times they speak in code, but if you think about it, if they do set these kids on fire and burn them, there would be no trace of any of the sex abuse. You see what I'm saying? And on this document that I posted yesterday that showed that CMEX was connected with Clinton, it was talking in that kind of cryptic language. Look at this. Lori J. Ford, powerful woman, okay? The woman I look up to. No Amber Alerts for missing children under DCS unless parents take their children back. And then DCS put out an Amber Alert. What's wrong with that picture? A lot is wrong. So DCS is taking kids without warrants that are required under the federal law. You can't just go see somebody, anybody, without a warrant. But they're taking our kids without a warrant based on the ASFA that was created by Clinton. Then when somebody goes and take their kids back, and if you look under common law, look up the definition recaption, actually it said that if somebody takes your kids, your wife, or your chattels, your property, you can go and recapture what belongs to you. But if somebody goes and takes their kid back from DCS who have taken them unlawfully and maybe deceived them with a contract, which we sign no contracts, they've been deceived by a contract, DCS will use Amber Alert, which is CPS. They'll use Amber Alert to go find you and take your kid back and arrest you. Okay, so the thing is that they're using a company they're contracted with called Amber Alert to take the kids. They're using the police who they're contracted with. It's not that you did anything wrong. The police are contracted with them to help them take the kids. So they'll send a SWAT team in certain areas into your house to take your kid from you. But they only did it, yes ma'am, I will, if God lets me live, Kinley. They only are taking your kid because they have a contract with DCS who's getting money from Title 4E. So everybody's making money and taking your kids. The psychologist that says that, oh, we think you have narcissistic disease and therefore we must take your kids, right? They come up with any freaking reason in the world to take your kids. You have narcissistic disruptive disorder, so now we got to keep your kids, and they go put that in a court to trick you into believing that something's wrong with you and you don't need your kids. Now I'm gonna bring you back to history. Go look back in history. Look up 1 million children stole by the Catholic Church, nuns, and hospitals. When they lied, they would lie and tell parents. They would do two systems. They would tell parents, thank you so much, Kenley. You're a blessing. Like, that's some powerful words right there. I appreciate you. You know? So they would lie to the parents. The Vatican and the hospitals would lie to the parents and say their kid died and your kid is dead and sorry, we feel so bad because your kid is dead. And they would take the kid and go adopt it and make money. Another thing you could look up is they would convince the parents that they can't afford to take care of their families. Now, I found I didn't find it. Somebody who I'm really cool with, who's really powerful, found a document yesterday, and they showed it to me. And inside of the document, it said that they were going to target low-income families. Now, when you look at Arizona, they go after, and around the nation, they go after low-income families who can't make a lot of noise and fight. So the funny thing is, they probably thought like, hey, this guy Dave is a low-income family. They didn't know that like I was at the peak of business, like doing like $30,000 months at times. They didn't know. So they took my kids, and the first day they said they were going to take them, I did a video, and 1,700 people saw the video in one day. Then we told my wife's attorney. My wife's attorney went and told the court. Now, they're supposed to be for us. They went and told the court what we told them in private, and then they went and found it online and gave us a gag order. But the funny thing is the gag order is by a Title 4E court, not a real court. You can't make court orders from Title 4E court, baby. You can't do it. So when they're telling us that they're giving us orders, they're lying. And it's so bad that they even write the orders in like what's legally called dog Latin, so you can't even... So to try to get rid of liability, they're not signing the order sometimes. And then they have orders that are written in English and Latin at the same time, so it's confusing. And somebody who just came in, Yvonne Taylor, can tell you about that. I think she just came on a second ago. I think I just saw her pop up. Yeah, Yvonne Taylor can tell you about that. She's in England and they're doing the same thing over there. So the thing is that they're trafficking our kids. They're trying to trick us. They're trying to lie. We're finding sex trafficking sites. There's another man who found these in Ireland in Canada, in the United States, they actually caught people with private citizens who just had to get up themselves. Some of them had to put guns on and stuff like that and act as police themselves, because we are the freaking government. They have not taught us this, but we are the government. But these people went themselves and stopped the rapes of children on days that the Vatican and the Jesuits have these planned sex events. Now, I told you I'll take y'all back to the Bible. The false god Molech is the god that they burned their kids on, and people had these sex orgies, and people were known to rape kids even back then. And so we understand that they caused violence in the land when these things were happening. They're doing the same things now, guys. And the sad thing is, not of all of us believe the same thing, but when the Bible tells you about a false god named Molech, and then you see these people putting the symbols of Molech on their buildings, and then they're taking our kids, robbing us of our kids, raping the kids. They're using, the governor is connected to the mob and the Jesuits. The Jesuits have paid hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits. The Vatican just paid a $4 billion lawsuit for raping kids and all type of stuff. There was another $450 million lawsuit. There was another $800 million lawsuit. And guess what? These people are connected to foster care, where the kids are trafficking, and they make money off of every kid that get taken. So if you just look at the fact, if I pay a $166 million lawsuit, but I made $1.3 billion in one state, who gives a freak? They're not getting arrested. They're raping our kids, paying some little shut up money, and then they're raping more kids. And we're not slowing down enough to see that this is what's happening to us. We're not looking at the truth enough. It's funny, they'll give us all types of freaking gladiator games. We'll watch football, then basketball, then America's Next Top Model, then this, then that, and the whole time they're having sex with our kids. They're becoming billionaires. Look, there was the island that the billionaire had, the Hollywood guy, who they took people to have sex with kids. Now this guy gets arrested, and we know that political officials went there to rape the kids. Well, how long are we going to ignore this? How long are we going to ignore this? You know? And people say, look, you're not getting mad. Look, I can't be mad. I can't be an angry individual and carry out this work. See, it's taken for me to be patient and learn patience and get evidence of all the stuff that they're doing. And I've shown tons of evidence on my page. I've shown documents where they're committing fraud, where they're changing names, where it's a private business. You can't be angry, and you can't show your anger and do this, because for too long they've used our anger to say, oh, well, these are just disgruntled, angry parents. They're just mad because we took their kids. But you're not telling that you took their kids by fraud. You're not telling that you're raping their kids. You want the people to believe that you're doing no wrong and you're doing this for the best interest of the kids. But I'm going to tell you something that's so powerful. What's so powerful is, for the first time in any meeting I've ever seen, and I've seen some powerful women who went through hell, powerful women who went through hell, come to this meeting, look at the other video. They came through and ripped these people a new one. And they showed their emotion, but I was calm. I'm like, hey, I am not going to be the big chocolate dude in the room causing drama, okay? I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to let these powerful women tell with their fire, because men need that. Because for somehow men have lost their heart, and the women who have birthed these babies have this strong fire, and they've been showing and fighting and getting dogged out and hurt and embarrassed and mocked, and their name has been trampled through the mud, and have been strong year after year after year after year. And as men, we got to come and stand strong in our role and in our place that God has given us too. We got to be a protector of the women and the children. And so we can't be afraid to come out and say stuff. We can't let this stuff just keep going. We can't refuse to share. I had some people tell me, oh, we don't want you sharing this stuff in the yard sale group. I'm like, look, I'm going to share it wherever the freak I can share it, because people need to know, because their kids are being raped. People are being abused and hurt. I'm not going to sit here. I don't give a darn about no rules of no group. I don't give a darn about no rule from no fake court. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to tell everybody, because if it costs me my life, your kids are just as important as my life. And if somebody grabs one of your kids or your grandkids and they rape your kids, it's my fault if I don't stand up. I'm supposed to stand up for you. God put me here to be a brother to you. God put me here to fight for you. God put all of the men here who got the strength to fight for the women and children. We got to get back to our role. We can't let some fake government officials who working for a private contract for money tell us what the best interests of our children are. Let me tell you what happened Friday though. So Friday, for the first time that I've ever seen anything like this ever, 2 foster parents came into the meeting to complain. And the foster parents were complaining about how these people who are working with DCS, one of them was talking about how there's a kid in her home that they left in her home, and they left other kids in her home, and they failed to pay her like tens of thousands, like $20,000-$30,000. But they say they're doing it for the best interest of kids. So how is this Title IV money for the kids, but they got you canceling people's foster parent rights or whatever, their licensing? You leave the kids in their freaking house and you won't give the kids money for food? You give them like 56 cents a day? Who the freak can feed any kid for 56 cents a day? Are you freaking kidding me? You're taking our kids, saying it's for the best interest. You're being paid billions of dollars as a private company. Y'all spreading money around. Federal government employees are keeping money. State employees are keeping money as side business in their private capacity, not their official capacity, because we pay them from tax dollars in our official capacity. So there's no reason for them to be making money in side businesses and paying police officers to help them take kids. All this crazy stuff. Are you freaking serious? They're stealing our kids and getting paid privately for it. But the foster people came in. One of the ladies said, look, I've been begging the owner of DCS, the businessman running the fake Title IV company, the private business. I've been begging him to pay me, spending tens of thousands of dollars, feeding the little guy, taking care of him, and they won't give me the payments. Then they just cut off her license and come up with some dirt about her in a fake court. Now, for the first time, you got people on the biological side and people on the foster side, both at the same place, saying that the people who controlling the money are stealing the kids for money, and the other one saying, and they ain't even paying us. They're not trying to take they're not even trying to take care of the kids. So I'm telling you, by the power of God, this thing is coming down. I called it. Go look on my page. If any of you are my friends, go look at my page. I said it weeks ago, months ago. I know that God is destroying this system worldwide. I know that I have to fight a battle. But there's some strong people who came before me, some strong women who have been crying, been broken. And I cannot be a buster. I cannot be a punk. I cannot be a coward. When you see women with fire like this and power like this, it's like Timothy in the Bible when his grandmother and his mother gave faith to him. See, when you see these women who have SWAT team come in their house and snatch their kids, and SWAT team has a contract with DCS to go take the kids for them, you know that this has been done by evil. Ain't nobody do nothing wrong. You gonna take down their freaking kids, snatch their kids out the house at gunpoint, and don't arrest the parents? You know nothing has been done wrong if you send a SWAT team and just take the kids. Come on now. You're using the police as your own little private military to steal the kids, and you're making money off of it, and you're not telling the people. When did you sit down, the people of America, and tell them that you're going to take their Social Security money to make money off of their kids and call it the best interest of the children, and then you're not even paying the freaking kid? Paying the kids. You're not paying the people who have the kids. Come on, y'all. Come on. Be for real. You know? We got to stand up. And now we got these brave soldiers who've been killing themselves. Brave soldiers who just want to go through the desert and find other brave soldiers so they can get them and put them to work and help them secure the border so they have something to do. Because they have taken our military veterans, right? They have taken them and sent them off to war. And I want y'all to remember, they sent them off to war, and then when they came back, they said, oh, these people who went to war are the most likely people to be killers and psychologically messed up, so we need to watch out for them. So you put the dang military guys on a watch list. You put the military guys on a watch list after you sent them to go kill people. You sent them to sign a death warrant. They were brave as heck, believing that they were doing this in the best interest of the nation. And then you take them and you won't help them when they come back, when they got mental issues because of what they seen. They see people dying all around them every day to carry out missions for you. You got them walking through poppy fields with guns to protect poppy fields. It's funny, you'll blow up the oil that Saddam Hussein had, but then you'll take their poppy fields and you walk through there with military weapons to keep them from setting the poppy fields on fire. Why you want the poppy fields? Because the drugs come from there. We know the CIA ran drugs. Look up CIA and you'll find out that, and the Jesuits, you'll find out that the Jesuits ran the CIA for a long time. The Jesuits ran the FBI. The Jesuits are getting in trouble for child trafficking. The governor of Arizona is Jesuit trained. Obama was Jesuit trained. Joe Biden is a Jesuit. One of the greatest presidents ever, Abraham Lincoln, was killed by a Jesuit. They got notes going back and forth. We're not freaking gonna keep sitting here being stupid. There's connections. The guy who was in DCS in Arizona, CPS, I think his name was Tim Jeffries. He got $1 million lawsuit. He's a Jesuit. They act like they fired him like they were having a battle. Another guy gets fired because it seems like he's embezzling money, but the guy who helped create the system was a Jesuit. And he told them that the system was messed up. Now he's getting a $1 million lawsuit? Are you freaking serious? But the parents whose kids are getting stolen, we can't win a lawsuit? We got to go through hell? You got to be in the bar to stand up for your rights? Who the freak told you that you could come in and just take our kids from us and we can't do anything about it? Are you serious? See, I said something a while back. I said, God is going to knock this thing down, and I am not going to beg the government to do right. We've seen with Red for Ed, no matter if you like them or not, that when the people stood up, the government shuts the freak up and acts right. The problem with the kid movement is we've been fighting each other. We've been going through these different, yep, that's right, with the company and bar association, that has been bad. The bar association have found a way to change the laws and secretly write stuff and statutes and codes that's for them and make us believe that the statutes and codes apply to us. So I'm not saying that we don't have to be lawful. I'm saying that there's statutes, regulations, and codes for agencies of the government that tells them how to behave. They've got us to believe that we need to follow what these agencies' rules are when Supreme Court Justice, one of the first women from Arizona, her name is Sandra Day O'Connor. Sandra Day O'Connor said that a parent has a right to have their kids and that it is a liberty interest, that is a fundamental interest. That means that no state can just take a fundamental interest from you. You can't do that without due process. You can't. Well, she said that if you look at, I believe it's Miranda versus Arizona, it tells you that where constitutional rights are concerned, not concerned, there's a different word, but it means concerned pretty much. Where constitutional rights are concerned, or involved, I'm sorry, where constitutional rights are involved, there should be no rules or legislation made to abrogate them, meaning to get rid of them. So we've been having people in the legislature that's been sneaking and writing laws or statutes and codes and legislation to make us believe that we are to follow them and give our kids up and do whatever they want us to do, but they're really fighting against the Constitution, and the people are starting to find out. So we need to come together and stand up. Like, I don't care what movement you're in, I don't care who you have battles with, who you have fights with, I don't care what has happened. We need to all come together in every state, and we need to stand up against these wicked people, and we need to take our children back, and we need to let them know, you're not going to just freaking take our kids from us. I'm sorry. And they are out of control, Dana Lawhorn. You are so 100% right with your powerful self, you know? And so it's crazy that I seen the documents from Title IV yesterday where they changed it and said we are no longer going to worry about the parents' rights. We are going to be concerned about the so-called interests of the child, but they're not paying for the kids to have food to eat. They're not paying for the kids to have a place to stay. They're ripping off to make more money in business. They're ripping off the families, stealing their kids, and then they're ripping off the foster families. But they brought the foster families in under the belief that they were going to take care of them and be right to them, and they didn't. They didn't. And so it's funny, man. I'm going to tell you, I got down on my knees and I prayed like crazy. Prayed like crazy. And I want y'all to read these comments because people like Lori Ford, Yvonne Taylor, Dana Lawhorn, she's a powerhouse. All of these powerful people on the page, they're making comments that is fire because it's showing you that it's not just me that's saying these things. There's tons of us. But we got to share this, and we really need to get this out here. Let me tell y'all how to make this go super viral. I want you to share it. Go to your local yard sale, buy sell trade groups, your thrifty groups. Be creative where there's groups with a lot of people. Some of them will have hundreds, some of them will have 10,000, 20,000 members. We need to let these people know that they're trafficking our children anywhere we can expose it, because wicked people who are abusers, what they do is they get us in these fake courts that are called Title 4E courts. They're not court of competent jurisdiction. They're inferior courts. They are poisoning our food and water too, Corey. You're right, you know, and Eva, you're right too. But what they do is they get us in these inferior courts. Much love, Dana. They get us in these inferior courts, and which are not really courts, and they abuse us with people many times who are not really lawyers, you know, and it's deep. That's right, East India Company. You're 100% right. See, this goes really deep. Like Jeff Thomason, he has a lot of information on this too, and we're both connected to an entity that knows a lot about stuff that's going on that I haven't even talked about yet. But it's so darn deep that if we really perceive what they were doing to us, like when you go back and you look up your record, you're going to find out, if your kid has been taken, that you are somebody who lives in like the Philippines, in the islands. You're going to be, I forgot the other locations or whatever, but you're going to be a drug dealer or an arms trafficker in that nation if you look up some of your files and your records. So if 20 or 30 years go down the road, right? That's right, Raphael, sir. If we go 20 or 30 years down the road, because there's no signatures on these fake courts, and because the attorneys are using different names, they can say that wasn't me. They can say, hey, on the roll of attorneys, my name is Jared Jefferson Steele, and this guy is saying somebody named, Jared Steele did this. See, I showed you guys with my own case how the people were using different names from the roll of attorneys. They're bringing private cases into a private court and stealing our little ones from us. And it's funny that when I asked the attorneys that I know and different people to explain why this is happening, or to tell us if Title 42 is a positive law, which they get their so-called authority from, it's funny that they won't even, they won't answer. They will not respond. But now we're finding these trafficking courts. But remember, and now there's some good attorneys out there, so don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing all attorneys, because y'all know there's some that I love like crazy. But we'll find that the bar attorney first has their loyalty to the court, then to the public, then to the client. So you're last. So with that in mind, we need to realize that it is not in our best interest to let them control everything for us. It is not in our best interest, because we're finding trafficking locations and the government will not come. Trafficking location for children in Tucson, the FBI has been begged to come out. They will not come out. When you try to tell the FBI that CPS is stealing your kids with no evidence, no nothing, they will not come out. You got to ask why. When you try to tell the federal courts what's happening, many times they will not respond to you. Why? Is it because with child support and family court, they need chaos to make money? So there's a child support order. If they tell the dad he got to pay $500, they go to Social Security, take another $500. On that right side, where they take that $500 from Social Security, they have 66% goes to the players. 66% goes to the players who are acting in a private capacity. That means 34% got left with the government, with the federal government. So federal government is not even doing really that much of the work, and they're keeping 34% of the money. Child support services are getting 66%. Then you do the same thing in the trafficking of our kids through CPS. Trafficking of our kids through CPS, that's right, they're making billions of dollars across the nation, and they're doing it in their private capacity. And then we pay them in their public capacity, or their official capacity. So we're paying them once, then they got a side business going where they're taking our kids and selling them, acting like they're doing it in the best interest of the child, but they're not proving that parents are injuring their kids in most cases. So if in Arizona 90% of the cases is therefore neglect, so-called, you don't arrest the parents, you don't charge them, And then you take the kids and you start looking for stuff like you're trying to charge them, but it's all a hoax so they can take your kids. And I showed you the Pima County Guardian ad litem book that said that they're not trying to look to blame the parents for anything. They're not trying to blame the parents. They just want to take the kids. Then we find our kids are ending up missing. So we see Jesse Wilson ended up missing. We just found him in Buckeye in a field with possibly other kids' remains next to him. And he's dead. Nobody told. His foster mom left out of town. She wasn't charged at first. Nobody told us where the kid went. We see this other little girl, Devaney, raped, put in a child sex trafficking ring with a guy who's running a child sex trafficking ring and freaking in the military. Okay? So this guy was, you know, raping boys in the military. He gets in trouble for it. Now you turn around and you bring them to Arizona. Now Arizona DCS lets him become a foster parent. Then he rapes the kids. When the mom tells, they sever her rights because she keeps saying they think he's raping the kids. So when you find out she's right, you took her kids for nothing. You didn't have evidence of her committing a crime. You didn't prosecute her and finish her off. But you take her kid. Now she wants her kid back. You won't get a kid back. Take the kid from that house. Put the kid in another house where the kid got bite marks all over her. So she's abused. Then the foster parents drop her back off at the DCS office. Then you take her to another house where a woman takes her, puts her in scalding hot bath water. The woman has scratch marks all over her arm, showing that the little girl is struggling. The little girl gets burned over, I think, 80% of her body. She gets jacked up real bad. And then you take the little girl and they throw her on the floor. She sits on the floor for 6 hours and almost dies. Her organs are failing. She ends up in the hospital. And nobody wants to give this little one back to the kid. That's the best interest of the kid. She still got the same guardian ad litem attorney making decisions for her. In Arizona, they're stealing adults the same way, taking their houses and selling them for 50% of the value, making millions of dollars, and won't telling the parents that they need to get a psychological evaluation. I mean, the family, oh, you need a psych eval if you want to see your mom. Come on, y'all. Look, we gotta stop letting people control everything in our life. We got to get to the point where we realize we are the government. We are the fourth branch. The people created the government. They are our public servants. We don't take orders from our freaking employees. Since when do your employees tell you, hey, you can't have a gun? Hey, you can't do this. Hey, you can't have your own kid. Hey, you're going to do what we tell you to do. How does the freaking employee become the master of the employer? We give them the money to survive. We give the government the money. We give the government the ability to function. But somehow, we've got these slick jive attorneys who have a contract with child support. See, you wonder why you go to court, right? You go to court. You're right. You're right, Jamie. We go to court. And when we go to court, we go to these family courts and we wonder why they pit us against each other so fast. Wow, my son is dead because of 2 pedophiles. The law say they have to tell me who did it and they still refuse. Wow. Wow. Now see, I didn't even know this. I knew Dana was a powerhouse. I did not know that. I did not know that. I didn't know her son was dead. She was forced out of her home that was completely paid for. It was her alone against all. You see, these people are running fake private courts that are not courts of record, calling themselves getting judicial determinations. My battery went down to 15%. Calling themselves getting judicial determinations. Now, I'm letting you know, the government officials in DCS are watching my page right now. They're watching my page right now. And they hate my guts because I'm not giving them their way. I'm not standing down to their bullcrap, and I'm not going to be afraid and let them continue to hurt our people. I'm going to let you know something. In Arizona right now, we are one of the only 6 states that are allowed to remove judges, okay? To remove judges, recall judges. We need to start recalling every freaking foolish judge that is going to be involved with taking our kids or not giving us remedy, let's just freaking remove them from the bench. Let's share this stuff and get hundreds of thousands of people, and let's freaking remove them from the bench. So as they're taking our kids, let's remove them from their position. And then let's make sure that we hold these people accountable. We're not going to freaking play a game with them where they're going to continue to just steal our kids and do these wrong things. We're not going to do that. Like, this is a message to the government officials. I love every single one of you, even the ones of you who have stole my little ones. You are involved in a system that is wickedly trafficking our kids. You're hurting our kids. You're destroying our families, and I will hope that you will stop what you were doing. Some of the guys who took my kids, y'all remember that I came to y'all and I said, look, I would love to settle this in a private. You already know that the things that you're taking my kids for are a lie. And so I would love to settle it in private and make sure that we don't have to take this to a level where the nation finds out what you've done and bad things happen, or you get sued in court for tons and tons of money, because I got all the evidence of everything you guys did. I got recorders, and I got other people. Look, we've had people come to my court cases who have information and who are reporters who know exactly what you're doing. I would rather that you repent and be right by God and try to do what's right, and come out and expose the evil that's been done in this system so that you don't have to go down with this system. I would wish that you would do that. Even if you hurt me and harm me, I would rather see you be right by God and repent, and I can forgive you. But if you think that you're going to just steal the people's kids of this world, and you're going to just harm us and you're going to dog us, oh, it will work, Mrs. Lawson, watch. We will win lawsuits. Look, the only thing that has stopped us, that's right, Melinda, the only thing that has stopped us from destroying this system and knocking it down is one thing, okay? One thing is when God is ready, but the only thing that's been hurting us from us is this. When you believe that people have power over you, you act accordingly. But when you find out it's a private business with a private court with private contractors that's all making money off of a system, then you realize, like, wait, you ain't even working in your official capacity. You're not trying to take me to jail and just arrest me and throw me in jail forever because you think I did something wrong. But you really know that I didn't do anything wrong at this point. You know that you're hiding evidence. You know that you're hiding information. You're taking me through a fake court that is just filled with crime and people who have been disbarred are working as attorneys. This is the due process that you're going to give a crying mom. We got moms and dads committing suicide, military people committing suicide. You're stopping people from seeing their families. You're letting pedophiles rape our kids. And you're going to sit here and tell me you're going to take me into a fake court. You're going to take these crying people into a fake court, make them believe. Why, if it's an administrative court, are you taking us in front of a group of people who looks like there's a judge in front of the room with a black robe on? The only reason you got that person in front of the black room is because you want us to believe in our mind that this is a real court experience. And because you know that most of us have a fear and love for the law, you don't want us to know that it's not really a lawful court and it's administrative court. It's just business. You're just making money and trying to trick us. Before you bring us into these courts that's causing people to commit suicide, why wouldn't you just tell us, hey, this is all administrative? Why wouldn't you tell us this is administrative? This is not a court of record. This is not us trying to take you to jail. This is administrative business where we're trying to see if we can take your kid from you and contract you to make money off of you. Why don't you tell us that? Because people are killing themselves because they think that you really have some power. They think that you're really a judge acting in that capacity, and you're not. Kenneth Cope Davis, in his book, Administrative Law and Government, he tells that when you're working with Title 42, when you're working with these statutes, you're not really working in your official capacity. You're working in your administrative capacity. Therefore, you cannot write orders. You cannot write warrants. So when you write these fake freaking warrants and you write these fake orders, you're only doing it because you need more chaos to keep your money flowing. Wendy Thomas, when you say the judge took my youngest son and gave him to his drug-addicted father, why do you think they do that? The more they keep the kids in chaos, the more the family court cases go on. If the guardian ad litem is getting paid $500 per time they show up at court, you think they want 3 court hearings with you? You are the commercial real estate that makes money over and over and over again. Every time they bring your body into that courthouse for the so-called best interest of the child, they're really making the best interest off the child. They're making the best interest off the child. Now, what we got to do is we got to start talking about this. We got to start letting people know. We got to start fighting. We got to start telling what's happening. See, when a rapist is raping you, when somebody is hurting you and abusing you, they do what they do to us. They put gag orders on the parents and say, shut the freak up. Don't talk about it. I'm ordering you to shut up. But it's not a real court. It's a private court. It's an administrative court, usually under the administrative office of the courts. So don't think that it is a true order. We are the people. We are the ones who are going to be able to stand up and change anything we want to if we put our minds to it. And I told y'all that God was going to knock this thing down. And now we see that there was found a sex trafficking camp connected to all these people. Isn't God good? Isn't God good? Think about it. And the more they make your kids go through crazy stuff, right? The more they make your kids go through crazy stuff, then they get in trouble, they act out, they go to jail. When they go to jail, they take them into private courts and then private jails. And then they make money off of your kids. So my battery is down to 5%, I think, and is not charging correctly. So I just want to let y'all know that I love the heck out of y'all. I appreciate y'all. I thank you guys for coming on. Share the heck out of this thing. If I got to get it on, if I got to let my phone charge a little bit so I could put the video public, I will. I think it was public already. Share the heck out of it. I got to go. I love y'all. I love the way you guys are standing up. I love the way you guys are being strong. Continue to move. Don't give up, y'all. Do not give up. Tell everybody. Share it in your local yard sale, buy, sell, trade, all those groups like that. Share it on Facebook. Thousands and thousands of people will see it, and this thing will go around the nation, and they will not stop us. We got proof of the trafficking now. Let's stop playing games with these people. Let's fight and get our little guys back. The lawyers want to stay at home now. They want to stay at home because they're scared of the danger. They know what they've done wrong. Come on, tell the truth. We'll even protect you. Just tell the truth. Be honest about this fraud. Let's stop playing these games, all right? So I love you guys. Y'all stay strong. Keep moving. Share this with everybody. Make it super, super, super viral. Go to the yard sale groups. Go to your Facebook groups. Join them and put them in there, all right? Let's make this thing happen. Let's make this thing have 1 million hits. I know y'all can do it. Let's stand up, all right? I believe in y'all just like I believe that God is delivering us, and we got to come together and do it. There is no races, all right? There are little kids that are getting hurt, and we can't have this jump no more, okay? So I love y'all. Y'all continue to be strong. Y'all continue to do right. We see God breaking through for us. Let's continue to trust. Let's continue to pray. If you need anything from me, let me know. If you need prayers, let me know. I'll be there for you. You need to learn the gospel, I'll be there for you. But let's do what's right, y'all, and take our nation back, because this is out of control, all right? I love y'all so much. Peace.